I was like, okay, like I'll cook for Danielle and like my mom.
Yeah.
But you know, to be cooking then for her to say, oh no, you're gonna be cooking for Will, you're gonna be cooking for all of us.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this takes things to a whole, like pressure to a whole other
Yeah.
level.
Welcome to another episode of Millennials to Millionaires. I'm Alicia Ace West.
I'm Daniel Kingsold.
Are we going to do rock, paper, scissors this time for the intro?
You do your thing.
I got it.
You got
okay. I feel really special to welcome you because I've known you for at least like 5 or 6 years. I don't know the exact date when we met, but we go way, way back. She is... Like I just said to her off air, that she works like a Jamaican because she is a Jamaican. She has so many different things going for her, and they're all just beautiful, beautiful projects. Welcome, Lonie, to the place. So when we first met, you were in the fitness world. You used to be one of my trainers. You got me like little skinny fit girl, but now I'm not.
You look great.
Thanks, girl. Thanks. And let me tell you, she like what butt? She'd be like, "Oh, you late again? Like, come on, girl. Like, do these burpees." No, I don't want to do burpees. Do the burpees. Damn it.
Burpees are no joke.
So you started in the fitness world essentially, and you have evolved. You have your own company, Eat, Train, Live. You just launched a pop-up restaurant called Miss Lickle's, which is bomb. We'll talk about that. And you do so many other things, but how did you really get into the fitness?
Well, fitness was always my outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never had just one thing going on. I've always had like a job and then side hustle.
Yeah.
And then like side hustle, side hustle. So the entire time I worked for Hourglass, I always had a 9 to 5. So,
okay.
But fitness was always such a part of my life that it kind of evolved into then a full-time thing for me. So I went from 9 to 5, training in the mornings with you guys at Hourglass, leaving work, hustling out, training again at night with you guys, and then incorporating some cooking in there, which eventually led to me starting a food business that was based around fitness and food, which was Eat, Train, Live. So I would cook for my clients, go work my 9 to 5, train my clients. So at some point, I had to sit down and think to myself, okay, I'm spending all this time working this 9 to 5, which, to be completely honest, I loved my boss, and I was there for like 7 years. I was an executive assistant at TELUS, and I loved him, but I had no idea what I was doing there. Like I just was not invested at all. So I would get up at like 5 a.m. to train you guys, like just pumped and ready to go, and then I would spend 8 hours at my desk job waiting to go back to you guys. So I was like, okay, clearly this is not where my passion lies, so let me see how I can make those transitions. So then through Hourglass, they used to have these weight loss challenges, and that's how the food thing came about. I started to cook for some of the people that were there.
So I used to order your meal plans, and I feel like they really did help with my journey. It just made me be able to have a consistent schedule, especially with somebody who is so go, and you don't necessarily have the time to just sit down and cook all the time or plan out your meals and meal prep the day before. Your service really helped. And since then, like, I'm always in the back of my mind when I get really busy, like, I need to do a meal prep. Was cooking like always in your vision, or did it just kind of happen when you realized like this was something that was needed? Well,
I did, like, so in terms of my own personal fitness, I have been involved in some sort of fitness since my daughter, who's now your age, was little. I had no money. I was a single mom. I needed like a community. I needed something to do. So I joined the YMCA. So that's how I started my personal fitness journey. That led me to compete. I did a fitness competition, and that really changed my whole outlook on fitness and food, because people were obsessive and crazy about what they ate to get into this physical shape, and then they were unhealthy.
Oh, wow.
So I needed to find a way to like not be that person and not, scrutinize everything that went to my mouth, but also I'm West Indian.
Yeah.
I like certain things. I don't want bland food. I don't want boiled chicken.
That oxtail rice and peas.
You know what I mean?
That.
Oxtail is something you can never make clean. I don't care. Everybody always asks me. I'm like, it's impossible. It's impossible. But knowing that there was these two parallels in terms of like physically what you see people looking like and then what they are really eating really kind of inspired me to be like, okay, you can eat real food and still be healthy. So I started to do that for people. They started to lose weight. Everybody was like, you should do this for a living. I was like, let me just add it to my list of things that I do on a daily basis. and then it transitioned into Eat, Train, Live. And that was what it was. People felt like it was, you know, they were getting something that was healthy. It was keeping them on track. And for me, it was like, you know, a no-brainer to kind of say, okay, if I stay in my 9 to 5 and only give this business 50% or 40% of my energy, then it's only going to yield 40% of
you have to be all in.
All in. And I had to make that decision. And that was tough to be like, I'm about to give up like an $80,000 a year job where I literally worked in my underwear at least 3 days a week from home. You know what I mean? And could do all of these
benefits
things.
And like
benefits, paid
pension,
vacation,
all that stuff.
I still get a check from them. You know what I mean for shares. And say, okay, I'm gonna venture into a world that I know nothing about, but I'm gonna go all in because if I don't, if I put 100% in and I fail, then I know at least I tried.
You tried.
But if I fail and I didn't give it my all, I'm gonna be like, I didn't give my all. So that was like the spearhead for me to say goodbye to Hourglass and to my 9 to 5.
I know. I remember when you were leaving and it was kind of hard, but you got so busy.
Yes.
Like Eat, Train, Live literally went from, okay, like I'm going to do this. Hey guys, this is intro. Like this is how much it is to like, oh shoot, I need to like hire people to help me out because I can't do it. It was all on my own.
It was crazy. And we did a test kitchen. And in that test kitchen, one of the people I invited was Will Smith's assistant. Yeah. Because I know her, and they were here doing Suicide Squad, and they were using another meal prep company, and they were not happy about it. So I was like, come to this test kitchen that we're doing and see if you like it. And she was like, okay, we love it. We're ready to order. And I was like, yo, I'm not ready to cook. Yeah. She was like, well, we're ready to order. So you need to get ready. So from that moment, it was just a snowball. And it was like the universe said, okay, you ready? We've got you. And within a week, somebody called my boyfriend, who is also a serial entrepreneur, and he's in the restaurant business, and said, hey, is your girlfriend looking for a kitchen? Because we just happen to have one that's available.
Wow.
And I was
everything just aligned.
God always has his plan.
Yeah. All so then I went back to my job, and my boss was wonderful, and I said, I need 2 weeks off to see how I can make these two things work. And he said, okay. And I came back 2 weeks later and I said, it was great working for you, but I'm not coming back.
That's amazing.
Boss.
Yeah. So, and it has just grown and,
Yeah. Snowballed effect.
Yeah.
Did you, sorry to interrupt you.
I wanted to say this before we moved on. I actually remember when Will Smith was in the city filming that because you were teaching the class. So I was in Hourglass. I don't know if I was working at that time. I was doing the front desk things or if I was actually training. But I just remember it was all of us in the gym working out. And then all of a sudden the door opens really quickly and it closes really quickly. And I just dropped in like amazement. It was Will Smith standing at the door. And I was like, did I just see? And everybody, like, there was a couple other girls who thought they seen the same thing. And like everybody just started whispering, like, was it? Like we opened the door and he was like gone again.
Yeah.
But it was Will Smith standing at the door. And then that's when we found out that you have like ties to the Smith family and your mom is like the coolest person ever.
Yes.
Her mom has worked and still does?
Still does.
Has been working for the Smith family for like ever. She's a makeup artist. And if you ever see her mom and meet her, she has like this funky color hair and like tattoos and like she's just the coolest thing. And she works for the Smith family. Like who wouldn't love to work for the Smith family? So by association, you're like the coolest person too.
No, 100%. I was gonna ask. No worries. It's all good. I was gonna ask, when you got started, obviously like cooking is like a passion of you. Did you ever think that in your wildest dreams you'd be cooking for Will Smith and like
No.
some of these other celebrities? Like,
No.
it was a far-fetched thought.
So it wasn't even. It was never a thought.
Yeah.
It was never ever a thought. Even when I started doing the meal prep and when I had his assistant come, Danielle, I was like, okay, like I'll cook for Danielle and like my mom.
Yeah.
But you know, to be cooking then for her to say, oh no, you're gonna be cooking for Will. You're gonna be cooking for all of us.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this takes things to a whole, like pressure to a whole other
Yeah.
level. And I had literally just started, so I had no background in it, had never done this before, and my first client was like the most famous person in the world, basically.
Period.
Everybody knows him.
Yeah.
Everybody
Of
loves
course,
him.
of
I was
course.
like, and then on top of that, I had the pressure of like, I don't want to disappoint my mom.
For sure.
And my mom has like, I have to.
No expectations.
My mother has never ever been like, oh, you should use my daughter's. She stays completely out of it.
Yeah, she's not biased.
She's like, I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
You know, this is your thing. If you can do it on your own, great. But don't expect me to ask any favors for you, which is why I asked Danielle to come and not my mom. But yeah, I had no expectation of that, and that actually led to a few other endeavors that I've done with the Smith family. Like, so I went to Atlanta when they were filming Bad Boys. I cooked in the house during Bad Boys a couple times, but he had no idea. So they were doing chef tests to see who was going to work, and he woke up in the morning and it came into the kitchen and he was like, what are you doing here? And I was, because I made sure that they didn't say, oh, it's Lonnie, because I don't want them to be like
biased.
I don't want
stuff
that,
like that. And feel like pressure.
Feel pressure.
Oh,
and you know, so I was like, listen, I'm just like anybody else. Like, what do you want for breakfast, Mr. Smith? Like, that is my role here today. And then just before COVID, I was filming, they were filming King Richard. And I was lucky enough to be asked to come and work with them because they had done a nutrition. They started a nutrition journey with a nutritionist out there, Mona Sharma. They talked about it on Red Table Talk. Yeah. So I worked with Mona and a team out there, and we put together their menus, and we're working on a food truck, basically feeding him and his team. For the few weeks before the movie got shut down. They're back shooting now, but I didn't return because of COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. What are some of your core principles that you feel like that make you successful?
Passion. I overthink everything. So I think to myself, like, what is that person going to experience in whatever it is that I'm giving them? If it's training or if it's food or whatever, how are they going to feel? Like, I want people to feel great when they're eating my food or when they're getting the result that they're getting from training, or I don't train people anymore, but when I did, it was really important for me that people felt like they just felt good. Like, I'm not here to make anybody feel bad about themselves. And like the food journey was part of that. Like, I saw so many people who really, I mean, like they would beat up on themselves about what it is that they were eating. And it became this, like, you know, punishment and reward system, and just trying to help people have like a healthy relationship with things. That's important to me. And, and then in terms of my own personal, it's just like, you know, just go, just keep on going. Like,
one thing I will say is that you did a great job about that. Like, with all the trainers that have come through and like trained and stuff like that, you were always somebody who, yes, like pushed us to do more, but you're always so kind and like fun about it. You never made me feel like,
some people might disagree.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, do you know what I mean? Yes, I hated burpees, and yes, I knew you were going to make us do them, but like at the same time, I love going to your class. There was something about you. And then even with your food, I will say it was definitely flavorful. Like, I'd be looking at, like, when I went to Detroit, I was looking for meal prep services, and I was like, oh, no. This doesn't look like it. This doesn't raise the bar. This doesn't, like, compare to Lonnie's, because she made sure that she had, like, all those flavors from the island, the things that we were used to in these foods. And then it's just like, you, even when we would work out, you're like, okay, y'all going out this weekend? Like, if you're having a glass of wine, add some soda water in it. Like, you'd be like, have your fun, but just add a little this in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was, I think that's what made people gravitate towards what it is that I did. Is like, I had a real life. Yeah. You know what I mean? I still went out. I still did things. I drank. I ate French people be like, you eat French fries? I'm like, I eat French fries all the time.
Yeah.
I drink all the time. Probably a little too much on occasion, but whatever. But I think that's what people gravitated towards, the realness and what it is that really makes people have a long lasting relationship with health and fitness is finding out a way to really make it fit with your lifestyle. Yeah. If somebody tells you you have to work out 2 hours a day and you have to eat steamed broccoli and, boiled chicken. Yeah. It's for just sure like you are going to reach your physical goal, but you will never ever be able to incorporate that into your lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not sustainable realistically. And you definitely made that. Fast forwarding now, you decided to launch a pop-up business in the middle of COVID too that was really successful called Miss Lickle Morris. And it was inspired by our Caribbean ancestors. One thing that I really love that you did is on Sundays you'd have Sunday dinner and you would invite somebody from like your boyfriend's family. Yes. You also partnered with T-Rex, Tyrone Edwards. You'd invite somebody from his family to cook something, their dish, which I thought was just a beautiful thing that you really tried to bring in community into your restaurant. But it was so successful. Like,
it was crazy. I saw that all over my Instagram, all nice. COVID long, and I never got a chance to eat it. But
I went a couple of times. I went by myself one day.
She did.
I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. If I'm gonna waste money, I'm going to Miss Lickle Morris, because I know the food's gonna be good, and I have to support Lonnie.
You have to do something out here in the West, man, because we got to go all the way to the city. It's a journey sometimes. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How that even got started?
Well, it was a very quick transition from thought to actual brick and mortar. The whole thing took about 2 weeks. So
2 weeks to start a business?
Yes. So so my boyfriend.
That's the fastest moving business.
No, I hear people start 2 years. Like
my boyfriend / husband. We've been together for 15 years. So
he's a husband now.
When she called him boyfriend upstairs, I was like, girl, that's your husband.
It sounds so strange, but anyway, my boyfriend / husband. He is in the restaurant business and he is Guyanese. He's always wanted to do a West Indian, Caribbean, island kind of influenced restaurant. He owns a couple restaurants now, The Good Son, plug. So he's always wanted to do it. And across the street from us was what was previously Convenience. Was empty. All COVID. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
All of COVID, it was empty. And
is that him calling you right now?
No, I think it's my mom.
Okay.
FaceTiming me. So it was empty for most of COVID. And he was like, I feel like this is a time we could do it. And I was like, exactly what you guys are saying. Like, I'm like, pandemic.
Like,
I don't know if
this is shutting down.
The right time.
So he was like, we should do it. And I was like, yeah, you should do it. Like, you should really, that would be amazing. I'll be there every weekend to sit on the patio and have cocktails with my friends. And it'll be great. So, and that was really what started it. So they reached out to a chef who came and did a test with them, and it didn't work out. And he was bummed. He was like, I really think we need to do this. Like, I feel like this is something I really want to do. And I was like, well, what are you going to do? And he's like, you're going to do it. And I was like,
forced your hand.
I'm not going to do it. And he was like, no, just trust me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so far out of my comfort zone. But
success comes out of your comfort zone.
Okay, give me a couple days. In a couple days, I put together a menu. We did a test, and then we did a test with Tyrone, and they were like, "We're in." And I was like, "What does that mean? Did we just start a restaurant?" And I was like, "Yeah, we just started a restaurant." And literally, that was, and then my daughter and I came up with the logo and the name, and I mean, the name was like just so perfect. Yeah, like it just all worked so well together. And then literally the day that we opened, the building got painted orange and Miss Lickle Morris came to life. Like I walked outside and I was like, oh my God, it's real. Like a real restaurant. It's crazy. And we were busy day one until we closed. And those Sunday dinners were like really special. And it was so lovely because people were, I mean, I again, did not anticipate the reaction and what people said on our last day. People came and gave us gifts. People came and brought us cards. They were like, thank you so much. This is the first place we came to, in terms of like socializing in public during this pandemic.
And you guys made it
were
safe.
So warm and welcoming, and you made it so safe. And it was, and I mean, my nieces worked there, and my mother-in-law would come in and make carrot cake, and my sister-in-law made the pepper sauce, and it was just such a great experience that shutting down was hard, but we anticipated this second wave, so which is why we made it a pop-up, and knew that we would take this time to find a permanent location.
Home.
Awesome.
Yes.
Are you guys doing skip the dishes or Uber Eats, or if I want to order something
we were going
right
to
now?
do that, but in terms of Uber Eats and stuff like that, for small restaurants, it's honestly, it's a way to keep yourself relevant.
Okay.
But it's like it's really tough. Like,
And they cut into profits a lot.
They take 30%.
Wow.
They take 30%, and during these times where your margins are already so lean.
Yeah.
That it wasn't worth it. It's more important for us to find a permanent location where we can now take not only like that physical feeling that people got there and that food and make it better and more, like we want to build the menu, but also like we have a vision of what that place looks like.
Look like,
you know what I mean?
Ambiance.
Yes, like we want people were so excited about the food, but we want people to walk in and be like, oh my God.
But like even the orange was really beautiful.
Yes.
The color was perfect on that wall. When you walked down that street and you just seen that orange wall, it stood out. It was just like, this is beautiful. Like even though we knew that it was convenience before and stuff like that, we're like, this feels like a different spot.
Yeah.
And so hopefully you guys are able to find your forever home, or your at least for then home.
Yes.
And another great thing that you got to close off that run with was doing a private like congratulations dinner for Aisha Curry, because she just launched her
book,
latest cookbook, which I purchased, and I made her rasta pasta.
Oh, did you?
And it was fire, and everybody was like, okay, Ace, you could cook. I was like, shout out to recipes. But I seen that, and that looked like such a great time, and you were able to incorporate some of her recipes with your recipes as well, and it looked like she had a great time, her and her family.
That was so stressful. I mean, to cook. So we incorporated some of Miss Licklemore's stuff along with items from her cookbook. Like we pulled like all of the Caribbean inspired food from her cookbook to cook somebody else's food and give it to them.
That's pressure.
It's so much pressure. And I mean, but the event was beautiful.
Yeah.
Coco & Co. did the
decor and stuff.
And it was amazing. I couldn't even believe it was the same place.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes you feel good because you think, wow, like Steph Curry, Aisha Curry, they could have anybody. They could go anywhere. They could do this event anywhere they wanted to, but they chose like our little pop-up and everybody seemed to love it and enjoy it. So I was super stoked about that.
When I seen it, I was like, there's nobody else perfect other than you to do this. Like it just makes so much sense knowing that Aisha Curry has such ties to Toronto, obviously because she's Canadian, and then on top of that, like Caribbean roots. And I'm just like, if there's anybody who's gonna make bomb food and provide that experience, it's gonna be you. So I was really happy that happened for you.
We share a lot. Like she's a home cook turned, I mean, now New York Times best-selling chef, author.
Owns 3 restaurants.
I can only wish that one day
it will happen. We're manifested.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, so I really appreciate the fact that, it's not, listen, no matter the top chef in the world, there's still somebody better than that person. But I mean, in particular, like what your podcast kind of, what resonates with me is like, there will always be somebody better, but I always tell everybody, nobody can out hustle me. Nobody will ever outwork me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I will, if I have to get up at 6:00 in the morning and work for 12 hours and then go to the next job to make sure that that's what I'm going to do.
You're going to do it.
That's very key. And talking about Will Smith earlier, I remember an interview that he had with saying that like, I'm on the treadmill and I'm never gonna get off. Like you can. Oh,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that interview where he's like, you can have a better relationship, you can have a better work ethic. Like nobody is gonna outwork me and out hustle me. And I think that hustle, that grind that you have inside you has definitely been a part of what's made you successful. Anybody that's listening right now that wants to follow in your footsteps, they just have to apply those things in their life as well.
I mean, towards the end of Miss Licklemore's, I'm launching another meal prep company called Meals. I would literally spend the mornings at the test kitchen, which is out in Markham, cooking all day, again, on the healthy tip, and then come drive back downtown and, go right into the kitchen at Miss Lickle. So
you did it.
Yeah.
And it's paying off. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for your success, and I hope it keeps growing. And I hope you're able to, write the books and have the kitchenware and have all the meal services and all that other stuff that Aisha Curry has. You gonna do it too, girl.
Thank you.
So every episode we wrap with a book of the day. So you brought today's book. Yes. Do you want to explain what's going on in this one?
Salt, fat, acid, and heat would also probably describe my personality a little bit. But I couldn't tell you when the last time was. I just read for sheer pleasure. I'm always trying to learn something. So because most of the things I do right now revolve around cooking and I am self-taught, I'm constantly learning. So it is a story along with learning different techniques about basically what makes a good dish, which is all of those things.
Amazing. Maybe I'll get it because I'm definitely going to tap into my cooking bag. I'm going to take cooking classes. So if you want to do classes, I'll sign up.
Okay.
And
I'll eat the food when it's ready. Yeah. Let me know when that Rasta pasta is ready.
Daniel, next time. Okay, I'll cook for you guys.
No, please. I'm holding you to that.
Okay.
Don't just say that because we're on air right now. I'm going to be texting you where's my Rasta pasta? We always end off as well with a quote or something that you live by. Would you mind sharing anything with our fans and our viewers?
For me, my personal, it's not like a famous quote or anything, but I always, if it's something that I want to do, I just say yes and figure it out after. So there's lots of times where I guess fear would be your initial feeling would be like, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to say no because I don't want to disappoint. Whereas the last 5 years of my life have been a constant, yeah, for sure, I can do that. And I say it to the person, and the person sitting across from me thinks, great, we hired the person who knows exactly what they're doing. And then I leave and I go figure it out.
Yeah.
Because if it's something that I want to do, it would be the worst thing for me to say no based on strictly my fear. No. So I've had to overcome that.
I was going to say that I read a book. I think it was Shonda Rhimes' Year of Yes, where I think it was her. For 1 year, she agreed to say yes to everything. Anything that came across her plate. I guess she kind of had social anxiety where she didn't really want to go. So it's red carpet, yes. Do this, yes.
There's a movie about that as well. I think it's the Yes Man, or there's a movie about that. I don't know if it's Jim Carrey or somebody.
I think it is Yes Man or something.
Okay, yeah.
I remember seeing that. Yes, all the time.
For sure.
It sounds great.
But it's not as easy as it sounds.
It's not as easy.
Because then people hold you accountable to your word, and you're a woman of your word.
You also have to hold yourself accountable to it.
You do. Yeah. And then, I suffer from imposter syndrome, which is another buzzword that's out there. But because you say yes to certain things, you then are now in this place where oh shit, I said yes to something. Should I be here? But knock on wood, so far, everything that I've done, because I think I put all that, like we were talking about earlier, that passion, that love, that whatever, I really want you to be happy with whatever it is I'm giving to you. It's all worked out. So the next big thing that comes up, if somebody says, hey, Lonnie, this is something you've never done before. Do you want to do it? I'm going to be like, yep. And then I'm going to walk away and I'm going to be like, okay, now I got to figure out how to do it.
Awesome. So start saying yes more. Don't be scared. Step outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Thank you, Lonie, so much for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
We appreciate you. And that's another episode of Millennials to Millionaires. I'm Alicia Ace West.
I'm Daniel Kingsold.
And that's a wrap.